Hello friends, welcome to StudyIQ. My name is Dr. Mahipal Singh Rathore, and in this video I will be discussing the issue of internet neutrality with you. If you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you're using internet and this topic, this issue becomes important for you. Not just for competitive exams or to score some extra marks, but for the larger good of humanity. We have to make sure that internet stays neutral, and for that you have to understand the concept of net neutrality first. Only then you can work or you can champion the right for internet to stay neutral. Before going into the details, I want to tell you that StudyIQ has pendrive and tablet courses available for all kind of government competitive exams like SSC, Bank, UPSC IAS, and we also have test series available for UPSC, and now we have also launched a test series for SSC, CGL and CHSL 2018. You can go to our website studyiq.com to get more details or call on these numbers. What is net neutrality in a nutshell? If you're asked to define net neutrality or to give the basic of the issue, it can be said that the idea, the principle or the requirement that internet service providers should or must treat all internet data as the same regardless of its kind, source or destination. First of all, who are internet service providers? These are the companies that provide you internet. So for example, if you have a broadband at home, that is a wired connection, then you might be having a connection from maybe BSNL, Airtel, Tikona, any kind of company, you can name any of those. But today a large majority of the population uses internet over the mobile phone. So all the mobile companies of India like Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, Jio, BSNL, they by default become the internet service providers for us. So it is mandatory for internet service providers to treat all kind of data as the same, whether it is coming from India, from America, whether you watch a YouTube video coming from Sweden, and whatever its source may be. Maybe it's from a government website or a private website or a company or an individual. And it does not depend what is the destination. So even if someone is streaming the video in Sikkim or someone is streaming the video in New Delhi or Mumbai, the video should play at the same quality and the same content should be available. That is the basic idea of net neutrality. The companies should be neutral. There should be no discrimination in the data on the basis of its kind, source or destination. Now, what do you mean by the different types of data? See, internet is filled with different type of websites. You might have been to few of those. For example, blogs. Blogs are mainly written text. So text takes very less space. And on the other hand, there are websites like Netflix, which are video streaming sites. So Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, all these websites take up a large amount of data. So to transfer the data from Netflix to the user will take up a lot of space in the wires of internet service provider. Then there is social media, that is also digital content heavy. There are lots of photographs, videos on Facebook, Instagram. So that also takes up a lot of data. Online gaming, again, it's a very heavy duty gaming and there is a lot of data transfer. Then there are other websites like a government website, for example, upsc.gov.in or the website of any company that could be not transmitting so much of data, but it depends company to company. The website will depending on the graphics, images used, text used. So overall, you see that the data is of different kinds and different sizes on the internet. Before delving into the depth of internet neutrality, I want to talk to you about the concept of neutrality in its general sense of meaning. What exactly is neutrality? It means staying neutral, not taking any side. That is the basic simple meaning of the word. Now for public utilities such as electricity, water, there are laws that state that these companies have to be neutral. For example, electricity is the same for everyone. The electric company does not care what do you do with the electricity in your home, whether you are running an air conditioner, a tube light, a fan, or maybe just using it for heating. It does not matter. It does not care. The company does not care. All you have to do is pay your bill on time and the electricity will keep coming. The electricity company does not say that since you are using 4 air conditioners in your home, the load is very high, we will restrict the electricity to your home. They do not do that. But on the other hand, there are some other utilities, for example, television or cable service, which is not the same for everyone. Because Your Tata Sky pack will be different from your neighbor. Maybe you want to watch movies, so you're getting the movie package. Your neighbor wants to watch sports channels, so he will get the sports package. So these cable TV services are different for everyone. The signal will be different from television set-top box to set-top box. So in the end, the net neutrality debate lies in the question whether public utilities should look for business viability or full-fledged complete public access at the cost of business, at the cost of profits. Do you understand? Whether business is paramount, whether profits are paramount, or public access is paramount. This is the core of the internet neutrality debate. And we all should accept one thing, that internet is a public utility in the 21st century. It was a luxury maybe 20 years ago, but today in 21st century in 2017, it is not a luxury. It is the basic right of every citizen of the world in any country, because a lot of services are now provided only via internet. You want to register a complaint to a government department, you have an app for that. You want a passport, you want your driving license, registrations are done via apps in many states for that, or websites. And many other activities like paying bills, paying utility bills, electricity bill, phone bill, it can all be done via a phone app or the website, and you do not need to go and waste your half a day, waste 3-4 hours standing in a line to pay the bill, as was the case 15 years ago. So imagine the internet service provider, all these companies that provide you with internet, they have laid down some very big cables all across the world. Now the major companies, see, not directly, not a phone company will lay down the cable, but they will have some other contractors who will do this work for them. Overall, these companies own those cables which transfer data from one continent to another. For example, you are able to watch content from Europe over YouTube to India because there are some cables which are connecting Europe to India. Imagine those cables as these highways. So this is a cable, this is a highway. Traffic is going from this direction towards you. In this highway, this internet cable, it's an optic fiber cable, it's an OFC cable. In this cable, there are different types of data. Just like there are different types of car on this highway. There is a large SUV, which can be a video, which can be video data. There is a small car. It could be a blog. It could be a text. So it is taking up less space. There is a still smaller car. It could be the basic website of any government authority. There could be a even big truck. This could be some Netflix or another video streaming at 1080 resolution. So overall, you should understand that all the different kind of data are flowing on this highway, but this truck will take up more space, but still it has the same right to ply on this road, to ride on this road as this car. All these cars have equal rights. No one can overtake anyone. Everyone has to go in this lane. So do you think that this is neutral? Yes, this is being neutral. Everyone is given a same right to ply on the road. Now, internet companies want to give some preferential treatment, or they are saying that these cars are taking up large space, so there should be a separate lane for these large vehicles, video content, etc., social media, and these companies should pay for that extra lane because they are holding up the traffic of all these other cars and it is disrupting the service for everyone. Everyone is reaching late because of these big trucks or big cars. So what is at stake if net neutrality is done away with? If the highway operators, the internet service providers are given that permission that yes, you can have a separate lane and charge those big cars money, what is the scenario that we can face? So first thing that can happen is that ISPs can give higher bandwidth to services or websites that they have tie-ups with. So they can give a separate road here to Netflix. They can say that this lane is only for Netflix or YouTube. It has happened once before in the US that Netflix speeds were slowed down by the internet service providers and ultimately Netflix had to pay money to those ISPs. Only then their speeds came to normal. Now they are saying that we have to increase our capacity to give more space to Netflix. But don't you think it is against neutrality? Because imagine if Amazon Prime Video, it is not giving money to Airtel. Let's say Airtel is the internet service provider. And if Amazon is not giving the money to Airtel, only Netflix is giving. So Netflix videos will stream faster. So why would people go to Amazon Prime? The website will become slow. It will not load properly. The video streaming quality will be less. So Airtel will be in profit, Netflix will have their business booming, but at the cost of customers. Who do you think that Netflix would pass that bill to? They're not going to foot that bill. They will increase the subscription charges. So ultimately it is the customer that will have to pay up. The scenario could be the other way around as well. Airtel can simply ask all the video streaming websites, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, YouTube, that if you want preferential treatment, pay up. If you do not pay us, we will stop your services, or we'll slow down your services. And it could be the other way around as well, that Amazon can go and ask Airtel that we will pay you more money and give us more space or more bandwidth, give us a separate lane on that highway, on that multi-lane highway. So this is a very dangerous situation, and ultimately the customers will be the loser in this battle. Secondly, ISPs can also restrict websites or content. For example, as I already told you, Comcast, one of the largest internet service providers in USA, it had slowed down Netflix in 2014 or 15, I'm not sure. But in 14 or 15, they slowed down Netflix speed, and ultimately Netflix had to pay them money to get the speed back again, because customers started complaining that we cannot watch Netflix videos. For those of you who do not know what Netflix is, just Google it. It's a video streaming website where you can watch movies or TV shows for certain money, for certain subscription fee. One of the most popular video streaming websites in the world. So they can also give, the ISPs can also give higher bandwidth to websites owned by ISPs themselves. For example, AOL is a company in America. It is an internet service provider. It has physical infrastructure, it has wires, it takes connections to people's home, but it also has its own video streaming website, its own other content on its websites. Some of you might even know about AOL Mail. It was popular a few years ago. Before Gmail, it used to be very popular. So they would want that people watch videos on AOL website, not Netflix. So they will try to throttle Netflix. This is called speed throttling. So they will try to throttle the speed, throttling. They will try to throttle the speed of Netflix so that people go to ISPs. See here, this pipe is large. This is a large cable coming from the ISP, but here they will put some restrictions so that Netflix speed is very slow. So people will have buffering here instead of smooth flowing videos. Now this is also very dangerous in another aspect. Imagine in India, all the internet service providers, or let's say the largest internet ISPs, maybe BSNL or Airtel, they decide to throttle the website of upsc.gov.in or any other government website. Imagine they start doing it on the day that CDS, NDA, Civil Services, Engineering Services, all these notifications are released. They do it 4 times a year when all these notifications are released for 1 week. And they ask you that you pay up 10 rupees extra, or some percentage of extra money will be added to your bill if you want to visit upsc.gov.in. What will you do? Will you not fill up your form for UPSC entrance examinations? Obviously, you will pay the 10 rupees. But is it neutral? Is it ethical? No. But it can be possible, it can be legal if internet neutrality is not there. This is completely legal if internet neutrality goes away. The next threat that comes with internet neutrality going away is that of censorship. Imagine XYZ company in India, internet service provider. They do not agree with the views of NDTV and Mr. Ravish Kumar. So they try to slow down the NDTV website. They can also slow down the video streaming of NDTV so that people do not have full access, or they do not watch the shows of NDTV. Isn't this private censorship? A media channel will be slowed down, will be censored by a private company. Is it legal? Yes, but is it ethical? No. If internet neutrality goes away. But if internet neutrality is present, this is not legal. This will be illegal. They cannot do this. XYZ company cannot throttle down the speed of NDTV. China, People's Republic of China, has one of the largest censorship of internet in the world. In fact, internet is not at all free in China. It is often called as the Great Firewall of China, that virtual firewall built by the government. It stops all kinds of websites that you can imagine in China. So if you are living in China, you cannot open YouTube, Facebook, Skype, WordPress, IMDb, Twitter. No major website will open there. They have their own versions of social media and all the e-commerce websites. This is mainly because the Chinese government does not want content from YouTube or social media filtering into China and their citizens reading up about the government of China, negative things about the government of China. So it is a kind of censorship. They can control the newspapers, they can control the TV channels, but it is very difficult to control the internet. But they have successfully done this. It is called the Great Firewall of China. Although there are ways around it, people use VPN, virtual private networks, but still it is a bit difficult. It makes the internet slower. So is internet neutral in China? No, not at all. We can say that China is the best example of not having net neutrality. There is no concept of net neutrality in China. And this can happen in a country if net neutrality goes away. Any private company, imagine this is done by the government. Imagine a private company stopping all these websites. Now you might say that you will change the ISP, you will change from Airtel to Vodafone. But what if all the internet companies decide to stop these websites? What will you do then? Where will you go then? So internet neutrality is important. Then comes the OTT services. It is called over the top. What do you mean by over the top? Some websites or some apps are very popular. They are highly popular. For example, WhatsApp, Facebook, you can find them in all the mobile phones. So companies can put up a special charge for these specific apps. For example, Airtel planned to bring a 20 rupee recharge extra for WhatsApp, for using WhatsApp. They said that because WhatsApp now has calling feature, so we are losing revenue and we have to compensate. They gave such kind of excuses for that. But this is treating data differentially. To Airtel, it does not matter. It should not matter that whether WhatsApp is using text, video or voice. All the data should be same for them. But no, they decided to bring an OTT plan, over the top plan, which had 20 rupees recharge for WhatsApp and I think 10 rupees recharge for Facebook. That was the plan. It did not succeed, but still that was on the cards. Now imagine if all the internet service providers bring this policy in India. What will you do? Will you be able to live without WhatsApp? Will you be able to live without contacting with your near and dear ones? Or will you pay this 20-30 rupees? I think most of us will pay this money. But what about those people who are not able to pay this extra money? What if the internet bill rises from 200 rupees every month to 400 or 500? Then what will you do? I think many of us will cut down the usage and we will restrict ourselves to other websites or the websites which are not included in OTT plans. Another disadvantage of net neutrality going away: small and new companies are at a huge disadvantage when competing with larger companies in tie-up with the ISPs. So imagine Netflix has a tie-up with the ISP, so Netflix speed is going good. If some new website comes up tomorrow, a new video streaming website, it is good, it is very light, but they do not have the money to pay to Airtel or Vodafone, so they don't have that tie-up. So Airtel and Vodafone will ask them to drive their car in this lane with everyone else. It is a slow lane where traffic is going slowly. On the other hand, Netflix has an entire lane for themselves, so they can drive fast, they will reach faster. So this is that special lane that the internet service providers want. Netflix, that is a big company, Facebook, Instagram, these companies can pay that money to use this special lane. But what about other companies? So this will overall throttle the growth of economy. It is against open competition, against fair competition. Another issue will be the monopoly of ISPs, because most areas have limited internet service providers to choose from. In India, these are the major broadband providers. But I'm pretty sure if you are not living in a metro city, you would have seen only a few of these, and mainly you would rely on BSNL, because most areas in India are dependent only on BSNL to provide them broadband service. Metro cities and maybe tier 2 cities have all these other companies, but even in tier 2 cities there are hardly 2 or 3 internet service providers. So if they all decide to throw away net neutrality, if they all decide to give more speed to Netflix, you cannot do anything. You don't have much to choose from. It is not that you have 10 or 12 options so that you can choose any. It is hardly 1 or 2 options for most of us in India. And BSNL is one of the largest broadband service providers in India. And as they advertise, enjoy the thrill of real broadband, real thrill of speed. Now BSNL is a government company. But imagine a scenario 5 years down the line that BSNL becomes a private entity. There is disinvestment by the government and BSNL becomes a private body. What if BSNL decides to clamp down on upsc.gov.in or any other website? Will it affect your life? Yes, it will. You cannot imagine that right now. but the day it happens, you will not be able to do anything. So why this net neutrality debate started in India suddenly 2 years back? We have to look into the causes. There were two famous cases. First was the Airtel Zero plan that Airtel planned to bring out in April 2015. This zero plan means, what does this zero plan mean? They were planning to bring a zero platform out. In this zero platform, app developers and ISPs would be able to make a part of their entire mobile app free for customers if they pay Airtel. It means these companies had to pay Airtel so that customers will do not have to pay. And if you are doing just a 10 rupees recharge, then you will be able to access these 10 or 15 websites that have paid Airtel. So 10 rupees, you think it's a good deal? Yes, obviously it's a good deal for accessing internet, and it had all the major websites like Wikipedia, basic e-commerce websites like Flipkart, etc. So for the common needs of a common man, these 10-15 websites would be good enough, and you will be getting them at 10 rupees or maybe even 0 rupees. You don't even need to do a special data recharge for them. That was the crux of the plan. I think it was 0 rupees, yes. So this plan was mooted by Airtel. They told that Flipkart should pay, Wikipedia should pay Airtel, and we will not charge anything from the customers, and rural Indians will get the opportunity to go to Wikipedia or to go to Flipkart free of cost. But after the launch, Airtel faced a lot of criticism on social media because users claimed that it was against net neutrality. Now understand this. If Flipkart paid money to Airtel, but Snapdeal did not do it. So India has a large rural population which is migrating to internet and mobile internet. Don't you think it's unfair towards Snapdeal that the first website that lakhs and crores of people would visit would be Flipkart directly? They don't even know about Snapdeal, and even if they know about Snapdeal, they cannot go to Snapdeal because Snapdeal is not part of these 10 or 15 companies, because they have a tie-up only with Airtel, has a tie-up only with Flipkart. So this was the scenario that was taking place. Now Flipkart had some issues because Flipkart was also facing a lot of flack on the internet. Ultimately they decided to come out of this scheme. So just after a few days this plan was brought out. Flipkart decided that they are not going to be part of Airtel Zero, and one after the other, all the major companies, all the major websites, they pulled out of this plan. So this did not take off. But this started the debate of net neutrality in India at a large scale. Before this, people did not talk about net neutrality here in India. This topic was going on in US for many years, but here in India, this was the one that started the debate. Around the same time came the news about Facebook's internet.org. Earlier, the name was internet.org by Facebook. In September 2015, they changed the name to Free Basics, just around the time when our Prime Minister was visiting the Facebook headquarters. Before that, they changed the name to Free Basics. Now, what is this internet.org? This internet.org is also a kind of similar project where if you do not have data recharge, if you do not have the money for data recharge, if you just type in internet.org in your mobile browser, even if you're not doing any 2G or 3G recharge, you can visit certain websites, which are the partner websites of Facebook. So again, just like Airtel, some websites have paid Facebook, or they have some tie-up with Facebook. They have a business deal with Facebook that their website will be provided to people who cannot afford internet access. So Facebook was planning to launch this, and it has also already launched it in many countries, especially African countries like Namibia, Kenya, Rwanda, and even in rural areas in India and Southeast Asian countries as well. According to Mark Zuckerberg, this scheme or this plan was to give people who do not have access to internet at all their first step towards internet, their first step towards different kind of websites, the world of internet. But again, you see here also there are just 10 or 15 websites that you can access. Now the person who is going to use a mobile internet service for the first time and he wants to use the social media, which website would he visit? Obviously Facebook, because internet.org had only Facebook as the social media website. No other social media website was available on internet.org because they are in direct competition to Facebook. If you want to gain knowledge, then you have to go to Wikipedia. But what if some article is wrong on Wikipedia? You cannot go to Encyclopedia Britannica. because Britannica did not partner with internet.org. So you can access only this, not this. So your view to the internet is restricted. It is like going out to the ocean, setting sail on the open ocean, but you are restricted. You are only allowed to go to 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers ahead. The program was launched with partnership with Samsung, Ericsson, MediaTek, Opera Software, Nokia and Qualcomm. Basically all mobile and hardware companies and some softwares. So if you are typing internet.org in Opera, you don't need internet. You can directly use Facebook. If you remember, Facebook was even free for some Airtel and I think Aircel users for quite a long time on 2G back in the day, few years ago. So they were trying to get people to use internet, more and more internet. But ultimately it is more benefit for Facebook because people will join Facebook, they will give away their data to Facebook and they have a larger user base. In India, the partner for this internet.org was Reliance Communications. So wherever Reliance network was there, this is not Jio by the way, this is the older company, Reliance Communication. So they were the partners. Wherever Reliance network was there, internet.org could be opened by anyone without 2G or 3G recharge. But this plan was withdrawn in 2016, February 2016. It was launched in 2015, withdrawn in 2016 when TRAI came out with certain rules that you cannot differentiate between data. So this is when Free Basics platform was withdrawn from India. It is still going on in many countries. This is how it looked. It was supposed to look. See, there was a basic weather app. There was a baby center app, Facebook, Facts for Life, Messenger, Super Sport. So there was one app or one website from each field. But again, this is restricted. You can open crickbuzz.com but not crickinfo.com from Free Basics. Do you get it now? So it is good for CrickBuzz, but is it good for the neutrality? What if someone wants to visit Crickinfo? What if someone feels Crickinfo is better? But they cannot do it because Crickinfo will not be partnering with Free Basics. So who is the protector of India's neutral internet? Who is the person, who is the Gandalf of India's internet neutrality? That entity is Telecom Regulatory Authority of India or TRAI. It is a regulatory authority that regulates all the telecommunications in India. By the name only you can understand. It was formed by the TRAI Act 1997. So it is 20 years since this TRAI was formed. And the basic purpose was to regulate telecom services, fix and revise tariffs for telecom services. And earlier this was formed only for mobile companies because suddenly there were a lot of mobile companies in the 1990s. But then as a second step of mobile companies, now they are all internet service providers. So automatically TRAI also has regulatory authority over them. So the mission of TRAI is to create and nurture conditions for growth of telecommunications in the country in a manner and a pace which will enable India to play a leading role in emerging global information society. And another main objective is to have a fair and transparent policy environment and promote a level playing field and fair competition. Very important. There should be fair competition. There should be level playing field for everyone. This is enshrined in the objectives of TRAI. Right now, the chairman of TRAI is Mr. R.S. Sharma. And on 28th November 2017, TRAI backed net neutrality in India. They released the final recommendations based on the report that they have prepared in the past 2 years. And this report had inputs from the civil society, from leaders of the technology world, and everyone was free to give their views on the TRAI website. So this report, this consultation report has been prepared after a lot of time and efforts. And finally, they gave some recommendation to the government to form policy on them. And in that recommendation, they have completely backed net neutrality. They have said that internet should be open and free, not cannibalized. So this was that paper. TRAI releases recommendations on net neutrality on 28th of November. Before that, while discussions were going on, while consultation paper was being framed last year in 2016 February, TRAI had barred telecom providers from charging differential rates for data services. So you cannot charge different rate for different data. So effectively that OTT plan of Airtel could not be started, and also Facebook's internet.org also could not be started in India. So this was the regulation which was given out in February 2016, and now they have come out with the detailed policy paper and recommendations. So November 2017, the report says no internet access service provider shall resort to any form of discrimination, restriction or interference in the treatment of content. So you cannot discriminate, you cannot give preference to one website over the other, you cannot restrict upsc.gov.in at any cost, and you cannot interfere in the speed of the website, you cannot interfere in the content of the website, and you cannot include practices like blocking, degrading, slowing down, or granting preferential speeds, as it clearly says. So it covers a lot of activities done by the ISPs earlier. The report also says nobody owns the internet. This was said by Mr. R.S. Sharma in the press conference, and therefore it's everybody's property and it should be open and accessible to everybody. Coming to United States. Now this debate started initially from USA because United States has a large number of people who use internet since a long number of years. India, China are also large internet users. China, there is no net neutrality, no question of net neutrality. So US, we have to discuss a little bit. You should just have a brief idea what is going on. So this person has been in the news since the last 5 or 6 months. His name is Mr. Ajit Pai. He is a person of Indian descent. He's a lawyer of Indian descent who was appointed the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. This is a body like TRI in USA. So he was appointed as the chair of FCC by US President Donald Trump. And this person, Mr. Ajit Pai, he used to be a lawyer for Verizon. Verizon is a mobile company. It's an ISP in USA. It's one of the largest mobile companies in US. So he was a lawyer earlier for Verizon few years back when Verizon was trying to repeal the net neutrality laws. In 2015, this FCC under the Obama administration had upheld net neutrality. They had ruled in favor of net neutrality because the majority of the people who were appointed to the FCC, they favored the net neutrality rules. But as soon as Donald Trump came to power, he appointed this new chairperson, Ajit Pai, who was known for his view against net neutrality because he was the lawyer of Verizon. Imagine the lawyer of Airtel or Vodafone being appointed to the chairperson of TRI. This was such kind of a scenario. So Mr. Ajit Pai chaired the FCC, which has ruled against net neutrality in December 2017, few days back when I'm making this video. So in December 2017, they repealed those 2015 laws. So there has been a change in net neutrality, and for the foreseeable future in USA, net neutrality is in danger. We have yet to see what kind of laws will be made, what kind of changes will be made to the laws. But yes, the policy has been given out. The regulatory authority has given their policy that we do not favor net neutrality and ISPs should have the freedom to do whatever they want to make profits so that they can generate better internet services. That is what they said. So what are these internet service providers, ISPs, these companies, what are they saying? What are their arguments against the idea of net neutrality? We have to look at both the sides of the coin. First argument, what they say is that there's a large population in the world without connectivity, especially in developing nations like India. So it is our task to provide them internet for the first time or mobile internet. So we are doing it free of cost in plans like internet.org or Airtel Zero plan. So why are you stopping us from providing Airtel? Why are you providing us from stopping internet to people without internet free of cost? Second, they say that rural broadband infrastructure is very poor, non-existent in most places, and it needs big investments from the ISPs. Government is not going to help them. If Airtel wants to expand its network, it has to put towers, it has to put optic fiber cables in far-flung areas of the country, in mountains, to cross rivers. It takes a lot of money because it's a huge investment. So where will the money come from for that investment? Cities already have that infrastructure since a long time, past 15-20 years, and it is very easy to upgrade infrastructure in a city. There are very less transportation costs, the labor is easily available, skilled labor is easily available. But in rural areas, the game is completely different. It is there for all the other large infrastructure industries as well, roads, canals, dams, electricity lines, everywhere this is the same. So they are saying that we need money for rural broadband infrastructure. And we cannot start charging rural customers who do not even have money for 20 rupees recharge. We cannot charge them directly 100 rupees for a 3G recharge. That money has to come from the old users, the urban user base. Then thirdly, they say that only 42 crore people in India have access to mobile data out of a population of 130 crore. And even the people who are using mobiles, there are around 118 crore mobile numbers active in India. but many people keep 2 or 3 numbers. So actually you can say around 60 or 70 crore people in India have mobile with them. Out of those, only 35% have smartphone. So all the other people, 65% of the people, they do not even have access to internet. Maybe their phones will support 1G or 2G, but they do not support 3G or 4G. So it is our duty, or we are trying to give them internet. So this is the first step. Plans like internet.org, where these people who do not have access at all to mobile data, they are able to use internet. So this is a good thing. Why are you stopping us from doing this? And the final argument that they give is that there is no real neutrality in any other sector as well. For example, although the cars are free to move on a highway, every car has an equal right, but there is a different tax by the government on different types of car. A small car, a hatchback, has a different tax. If you buy a Maruti Swift, the road tax is less. If you buy a Mahindra XUV, which is an SUV, the tax will be more. So in India, as soon as you cross the 10 lakh ex-showroom price, the tax increases. So there are different taxes on different kind of vehicles. So there is no neutrality here. There is no neutrality in electric tariffs as well. If you use 100 units a month, the bill will be different because the rate per unit is different for this customer. If you are using 200 units, that rate will change. For 300 units, again it will change. So maybe if here it is 3 rupees, then for this it will be 4 rupees, and here it will be 5 rupees. So everyone is trying to tax the user who is using more bandwidth. So they are saying that same should apply to us. If urban customers, if customers who want to watch more video data, the people who want to watch Netflix and chill, why can't we charge them for that? Why can't we charge them and send the money for rural infrastructure to provide internet for these 42 crore people? How is that wrong? How is that unethical? That is the stance of the companies. Thus, I have shown you both the sides of the coin, but I personally am in favor of net neutrality completely. It is utmost necessary to have internet neutrality, and I hope you agree with me. And if you do, kindly share this video with everyone who uses internet or whose life is affected by internet. Because if internet neutrality goes away, maybe YouTube can be throttled down. You cannot watch these videos, these educational videos that we are making for you. Maybe you'll have to pay some extra money for these YouTube videos. That day can come if internet neutrality is done away with. Thank you for watching this. Have a good day.